Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.
G'day, I'm Fletch and this is Classic Restos. Today's show, country New South Wales, and we're at a pub. And you'll see more right after this.
It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. And Hare and Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au.
Getting out and cruising in your classic vehicle and visiting your local pub seems to be a major lifestyle combination for thousands of enthusiasts each and every week. But what about when you cruise into the country? Personally, for me, well, it doesn't get much better. Today, we're about a peanut butter sandwich north of Goulburn here in New South Wales. For this. Welcome to the Laggan Pub Car Show, put on by the Crookwell Car Club Iron Mine Cruisers.
I could almost challenge myself travelling within Australia to find the smallest town to film in. We recently had the beautiful Berrigan, New South Wales township on Classic Restos at just under 1,000 people as the heartbeat for the population. But here in Laggan, New South Wales, a small village in the southern tablelands, 240 kilometres southwest of Sydney, we have around 350 peeps. How sweet is this? The population today will definitely double as the good folk from the Crookwell Car Club puts on this 4th annual event where everyone and their tractor can turn up. The village entices you here by hosting a small primary school, a cafe, some historical buildings, and of course the pub. It's over 100 years old and has been run by the same family since the late 1960s. The show was originally organised by Stuart the publican and a group of local car guys. The Crookwell Car Club, known as the Iron Mine Cruisers, was formed in 2017. The car club uses this event to raise funds for local charities as per their charter. The show is targeted at families and local car enthusiasts, but never underestimate the power of a small vehicle event, because this one attracts entrants from all over southern New South Wales and the ACT. Alrighty, how cool is this? The 2018 Laggan Pub Car Show. How you doing, Neil?
Yeah, pretty good, Fletch. No worries.
I love your Holden.
Yeah, pretty well. It's not exactly. It was mine, but it belongs to Chris Shepherd from Goulburn.
Yeah.
So
you've got it for the day.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, Chris was tied up with football, so I've brought it out for a bit of a run today.
Neil, it's a beautiful car. It's gleaming here in the paddock, a 1958 FC and a wagon at that. What can you tell us about it?
It was originally brought by a Goulburn panel beater. It was offered for sale in Sydney by a finance company, and it came back to Goulburn, and the work wasn't sort of done on it, so he offered it to me as being a Holden enthusiast. So I sort of got it and was going to do wonders with it, and then pushed it into the shed. And when we found out on how much damage that was to the vehicle with the impact that it what sort of happened in the accident, it was a little bit much for me. I can do mechanical work and everything, but panel work and everything I'm a little bit beat.
Neil, it's a seamless repair. You look around the car, you wouldn't even know that any damage ever existed prior to now. It's a beautiful restoration. Every nut and bolt's been done on this car. The two-tone paint, wow. Doesn't that go with the 50s? And what I love about the two-tone, the separation of the stainless. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it all sort of works in really, really well with all the stainless and the paint. Yeah, it does.
Interesting too with Holden, they made an economy car for the average working person to be able to afford, but in the late 50s they really laced their cars with lots of chrome, and I think they did that very, very well. You can see chrome out back, around the front. I think the grille on these cars is just a standout. I don't think the budgets went so much to the grey engine, went to the cosmetics, Neil. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, that's right. Like to look at the front of the car, there's a fair bit of chrome on it, and up each side and around the back tailgate area, and it's sort of starting to get very, very expensive to replace.
Absolutely. A lot of die-cast work involved in these old cars as well. I love the dashboard. Again, it's the simplicity, but it's that steering wheel with almost the inverted arms on the wheel in the centre, and it's a high wheel. The sort of the era where you almost look through the wheel when you're driving. There's something archaic about that, which is also very cool.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's when I left Goulburn to bring it out here today, I normally drive a 48 series that we restored 28 years ago. But bringing this one out here today, it was a new kettle of fish to drive it. But as you said, you sit reasonably high. The steering wheel is reasonably sort of high, and they sort of take a little bit of mastering to sort of drive.
But once you do master them, they're a lovely car to drive. And this is fair income. I've driven a few of these Holdens. I haven't driven a bad one. They're a nice car to drive. And that little Holden 3-speed on the tree gearbox, what a simple little gearbox they are to use.
I sat on about 55 mile an hour coming out today, and it was comfortable for the car and comfortable for myself too.
Yep. And back in the late 50s and the way that the roads were, if you could do 55 miles an hour all day, you were doing well. Speaking of which, Neil, I better get on my way and find a few more cars here in the paddock here behind the Laggan Pub here. It's been great talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fletch. Good. Okay, right up. Thank you.
You're welcome, mate.
My passion for cars began when Nana and Pop bought their new Toyota Crown. It was Nana's, really. She loved that car. We went everywhere in it. My passion now is just the same, even though my cars are a little different. I've still got Nana's car, couldn't part with it. And I reckon if she was here today, she'd be insured with Shannons too.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
How would you like to double your garage space and work on your cars easily? Well, bring in your own hero with a Lift King hoist.
Easy to install models in 1, 2 and 4 post styles. Check the very nifty Spider 2500 portable mini scissor lift. Hero hoists are either Oz certified or carry the Euro CE, your guarantee of quality construction and reliability.
I regularly stand under my Lift King, so when you need a bit of a lift, why don't you go stand under yours?
Martin's Panel Masters has 3 modern accident repair centres. They service Melbourne's inner, outer east and the fast-growing southeast corridor. Your vehicle will receive the best from state-of-the-art repair equipment finished beautifully from computer-based paint mixing systems, finished in Australian compliant spray booths. Martin's Panel Masters, located at Ferntree Gully and Berwick, also Box Hill Panels.
If you have a restoration project, Hare and Forbes has the tools that you need. Shrinker stretchers, dollies, mallets, bead rollers, profile gauges, professional panel restoration kits, and so much more. Now I warn you, enter at your own risk because you will end up buying something. So come along to your Cap City store or browse and buy online at machineryhouse.com.au because Hare and Forbes has the range.
Moving on through, time for Marmopar now on the show. How you doing, Murray?
Hi Fletch, how are you?
Good, mate, good. Now, last time this Ute was on Classic Restos, quite a few years ago, had a 6-cylinder engine in it. This is a trophy-winning Ute, and when you look around it, it's easy to see why. The biggest feature, I guess, of the whole thing is the attention to detail that you've done incredibly well.
Thank you very much, Fletch. Yeah, no, I've spent a lot of time on it and enjoy doing it.
Now, we all know the Hemi 6s are a great thing and they go well, but what was it like going with the 8-banger?
Yeah, it was an experience. I've never owned a V8 in my life. I got the age of 53 and we we managed to procure a V8, and we decided we put it in the Ute, and no, it's a great experience.
Now, what way have you done? 318?
318, 30 thou over, roller rockers. The heads have been opened up, original heads, slightly bigger valves, extractors, headers.
Yep. Now, speaking of the attention to detail department, Murray, it spreads in your car. It goes from the engine bay and it finds its way into the interior. Again, there's no Dodge bench seat here. Tell us about the bucket seats, which way you went there. The level of appointment of what you've done on the inside is just as good on the outside. Give us a rundown.
Yeah, well, the seats are out of a VE Series 2 Commodore. They're leather. The door cards, they're original, just repainted. Carpet in it. Made the console myself. The dash, there was being a Dodge, no dash pad, so I left it original. It's got a Pacer dash in it, tacho, speedo.
It's a great looking Ute. When you look out the back too, I've probably the only person that's ever made comment here, but when they designed this 69 VF Ute, when you look at the thin bright work lining up with those tail lights, it's very Barracuda.
Yeah, well, they only used those stripes on one car, and that was a VE station wagon. No other, the VFs didn't have it and the VGs didn't have it. They used it on a VE station wagon. And I happened to procure those at the swap meet down at Chrysler's on the Murray. Paid an exorbitant amount of money for them, but I wanted them, so that's what I did.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, 66, 67 American Barracuda. If you have a look at the back of that car and then look at the back of this Ute, it's almost a carbon copy.
Yeah, certainly. They're all A-bodies, and a lot of what's in these cars, the Australian cars, was in the American cars. Yeah.
Now, this Ute, once upon a time, would have had a silver frosted bumper. It wouldn't have been chrome, right?
Yeah, right. Dodge Ute was a poverty pack Valiant Ute, no chrome. Even the hubcaps were painted silver frost and there was chrome underneath. Bench seat, no dash pad, one sun visor, no cigarette lighter, no radio, no heater, poverty pack car. I have the original sales docket for this car. It was sold in Crookwell, which is only 10 minutes from here. $2,217 on the road with a heater fitted.
That's unreal. And just quickly before you go, Murray, in the 70s you had quite a bit to do with Chrysler at dealership level too, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked at the local Chrysler dealership in Goulburn from 1974 to 79 when Mitsubishi took over, and then I left.
It's always great to talk to people in the industry, and it's always a pleasure catching up with you, Murray. Thanks for being on today's show. Okay. Love the Ute, and you can keep on talking about it. How's the twin dual pipes either side? Everywhere you look on this thing is dressy, and the 15-inch wheels. Yeah. We'll have to keep something to talk about for another day.
Okay, mate. No, thanks very much. Okay. Nice to talk to you.
Thanks, Murray.
Thank you.
Time for a Ford now on today's show. Hello, Malcolm.
G'day, Fletch.
How are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
That's good. Thank you for bringing this beautiful car here. What an interesting era. It's 1966, an XP Falcon Coupe, right on the transition of the XR Falcon. I guess the last of the batch. What a stunning car.
Thank you, Fletch. Yeah, this was an original Crookwell car, which is just down the road. A Dr. Broadbent bought the car new, had it for 2 years, and then was sold to my wife's grandfather, and he had that till he passed away. And I inherited the car in 2000, and here she is now. It was a restoration, 4-year restoration, and here she is. It was done for my daughter's wedding November last year. It's a bridal car.
Isn't that beautiful? They were kind of like Australia's Mustang of the 60s, weren't they? I mean, when you look at floor pan and the front end design, that's what they were.
Well, a lot of the car was brought from America. The roof turret was imported from America, as were the doors. Yep. The rest of the car was Australian. Yes. So yes, it has the Jimmy Richards look about it, which is the identical roof to the Sprint. Yep. But America mixed with Australia, which is what they did back then.
The interior, tell us what you've done there.
Yep, it's all original. It's been retrimmed, the seats have been retrimmed, but the whole car is original except for the rims, the widened rims.
Around the front of the engine bay, Malcolm, that's stunning as well, right down to the foam Moco bag there, the washer bottle, the washer bag on the inner skirt. How cool's that?
It is. It has a little foot pump inside. It's not even electric. They weren't even invented then. So you press the little pump and it just squirts up on the windscreen, and it is. It's just.
Isn't it amazing? We look at things now. It's easy to criticise as to how primitive they were, but when these inventions first came out back then, it was like, wow. Our last car never had this.
Yeah, well, this car's actually got factory-fitted disc brakes. which was an option. Yeah. A heater was an option.
So it stops between here and Crookwell as well?
It does, it actually stops. The whole front end is basically off-the-shelf Falcon. Yep. You can buy anything for this car. When I did the restoration, carries right through XD, XE, XF. They're all the front end. They're the same. Yep.
And ending on that note too, I think it's wonderful that the tradition of the Falcon legacy went so long in this country, just up to not so long ago. One of the longest running production of a brand of car here in Australia, or a make, and that's accolades to Ford Australia.
It was. The Falcon name, I think, will be overtaken by the Corolla name, but up till when it finished, Falcon is the longest name ever in anywhere in the world. Yeah. So it's a credit to Australia, I think, and the car itself. Yeah.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you, Fletch.
Love talking to you, and got to love the XP, mate. Well done.
Thank you, Fletch, and thanks again, mate.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, with me now, one of the guys that is responsible for such a shindig like this. What a huge show in Outback Laggan, or it feels like Outback Laggan. Lee Layden, how are you, Lee?
Very well, Fletch, thanks. How are you? Had a good day?
Mate, absolutely. Now, we're in for a big day, right?
Yes, we are. Yeah, still kicking on. We've just done the trophy presentations and the band's still going. So, yeah, we'll kick on until, well, who knows what time. Yeah.
It's funny, the geographical location of Laggan, like kilometres-wise, around 240 km southwest of Sydney. Doesn't sound that far, but it's just where it's placed, north of Goulburn. It feels like we could be anywhere in New South Wales towards the outback. We're kind of tucked away in here, aren't we?
Yes, we certainly are. Laggan's it's just a little village really, with the main centre Goulburn sort of 45 minutes away, Fletch. But yeah, and I think that's what gives the show its character, to be honest. It's a real destination show.
Absolutely. Now, Stuart in there, the publican, working behind the bar. The pub's full today. What a great atmosphere. As Lee just alluded to, here in the small town, everybody comes out. They come from distances also, like ACT as well.
Very much.
They've travelled quite far.
Yeah, from the ACT, we've had people from Sydney, down the south coast around Nowra, Bateman's Bay. Really have come from all points, which is great.
You're, like all car shows, stand for great causes. Now, there's a list of charities. Obviously, the next meeting that you guys have will be deciding where the funds go to, which is magnificent. In terms of numbers here today, Lee, do you think we're in for a record year?
Yes, we would probably be up around that. We've had 140 entrants, some of them with multiple cars, so bit unfair to charge them multiple entries, so we just give them the one entry, and then but really good but I think record numbers spectators wise. Stuart the publican was saying that it's never been bigger people wise, but cars we were there or thereabouts.
We'll have a go at the motley crew behind us.
Yeah, certainly right. They're here for the duration, that's for sure.
Sampling a few sherbets.
Yeah, my word, might go and have one myself shortly.
Now, Lee, this is the fourth year, right?
Very much, yes. Yeah, fourth year of the show. It was started originally by some local car guys. It got to a size where Stuart the publican simply couldn't organise everything. We had our car club formed in 2017. He asked us to help out and gave us full run of the car show to then allow us to donate all those proceeds and profits back to charity. So, yeah, great result.
It's amazing. Many car clubs here today?
Yeah, we about 4 different car clubs have come, a couple from the ACT, another club was represented from down the south coast, and of course our club, the Iron Mine Cruisers.
Yep. Awesome stuff. And on that note, if you have anything to do with a car club, make sure it's listed with the Shannons Club, because it's there for all the world to see. For more information about that, check out Shannons at shannons.com.au. Lee, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate, and keep up the great work, and I'll let you get back to it here today.
Thanks very much, Fletch. Thanks for coming along.
You're welcome. Thanks, mate.
Good on you, mate. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Every weekend around Australia, motoring enthusiasts get together to share their passion for cars and bikes. It's a passion that brings us together. All sorts of people, all sorts of cars and bikes. From the classics of today to the classics of tomorrow. At Shannons, we understand enthusiasts. So when it comes to insurance, it's got to be Shannons. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Martin's Panel Masters has 3 modern accident repair centres. They service Melbourne's inner, outer east and the fast-growing southeast corridor. your vehicle will receive the best from state-of-the-art repair equipment finished beautifully from computer-based paint mixing systems, finished in Australian compliant spray booths. Martin's Panel Masters, located at Ferntree Gully and Berwick, also Box Hill Panels. Hare & Forbes Machinery House has been family owned and operated for over 85 years, and it's easy to see why. Planning on welding? Look at these welding tables and clamps, air compressors and different air tools, sandblasting cabinets, through to spray guns. Everyone is welcome at Machinery House. There are competitive freight rates around Australia, and you can buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. So remember, Hare & Forbes has the range. Time for a Torana on today's show, a 1976 LX. How you doing, Soccer?
All right, Fletch, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Before we go any further, how'd you get that nickname of Soccer?
Oh, mate, on the old building sites, fella shaved me head one day and he said, your head looks like a soccer ball. Stuck ever since.
Well, I suppose with a name like Soccer, I guess you're always having a ball, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, mate, I am.
Well, it's time now to kick some goals.
Beauty.
And have a talk about this beautiful Torana.
Righto.
Now, have you done the restoration here, Soccer, or what?
Pretty much, mate. Yep, I bought it painted and then I've fitted it all out.
I have to say, with the interior, Soccer, love the houndstooth. It's so period correct for the car. It just sets it off, doesn't it?
I reckon it does, yeah. I reckon it's probably the pick of the trims, like with all the golf ball trim and all that.
Yes.
And I reckon it's the pick of them. That's my choice.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And we talk about the paint colour of the car. You've got the same shirt on. Is that just a coincidence, Soccer? Or what's going on there with the clothing apparel?
No, mate, I match myself. Yep, I wear this. Orange is my favourite colour.
Yeah.
So, yep.
There's nothing wrong with that. Now, what is the paint code for that? Do you know?
Well, it's supposed to be papaya, but yeah, it's a little bit different, I think. Yeah.
So just a little bit away from what the norm was back in the era?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, for sure.
But that's okay. It's all right to be a little bit different. I mean, these colours, they're so good these days, and there's such a range. There's thousands of different colours that you can choose. I think if you're within the ballpark or close to period correct, hey, look, if it looks good and you like it, that's the main thing.
That's it, mate.
That's good, Soccer. Now, let's talk about engine up front. We'll talk about the driveline first. 4-speed car.
Yeah, it's a 4-speed, Muncie 4-speed. Motor's a 355 stroker.
Yep. Now, the 355 stroker, for those you might be watching not au fait with that, 308 block.
308 block, yep, black block.
Isn't it good going from 308? We can go out to 355. That's a huge step.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think you can go 383 now too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Does any material have to come away on the inside of the block for the reach of the crank when the displacement does reach that?
Yep, it had to go in for machining, and they take a scallop out of each cylinder so the crank can. Yeah. So the conrod doesn't hit the block. Yeah. Yeah, it's very fine.
Geez, it'd be torquey, Soccer, with those cubes.
It's very good. It's good to drive. Yeah. Very good to drive.
It'd pull your house down.
Pretty much, mate. Yeah.
Good on you, mate. All right, now wheels. Tell us about the wheels. Which way you went there?
Yeah, Simmons wheels. Just to sort of match the era of the car.
Yep.
I've got another set at home, the same.
Yep.
Like I have a silver set and a black set.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that something with these Toranas as well? They just have to have those flares on the back, don't they?
They do, mate. They just don't look right.
No. Well, you're sitting the street proud here today, Soccer. Thanks for coming along and bringing this little gem with you, mate. It really is a nice car, mate. Well done.
No worries. Thanks a lot, Fletch.
You're welcome. Time for a classic Commodore on today's show. A 1982 VH Commodore SLE V8.
5 litre.
How you doing, Craig?
Great, thanks, Fletch.
So, mate, you having fun?
Having a great day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, this car, not so much the show pony, but what I like about it is the fact that it is 100% standard and an original car, right?
From new. It was my father's car. It was his present to himself when he retired from his job. And he bought it from Corwell's in Crow's Nest. It was a demo, and they actually pulled it to pieces because they said there was an oil leak in it, so they fixed it up. And it's been affectionately known in the family as the God car because only God could drive it. That was my father. So when he was just shy of his 93rd birthday and on his deathbed, he just said to me, son, would you like the car? And I went, me? He said, yeah. I said, oh, well, that'd be nice, Dad. But he said, oh, it's a serious question, I said, okay. I said, well, I like the car, thanks. And so we got the car and, Dad passed away. But
how long ago was this, Craig?
4 years ago.
Yeah.
And so we heard around the car and often looked at the sky and go, "Car's running well, Dad." So it hasn't missed a beat.
It's such a beautiful car, Craig. I can remember when these things were brand new in 1982. The company I was working for when I first started work had them as reps cars with the 6-cylinder blue motor in them. Yep. It was the general manager or the sales manager that used to have the SLE, especially this one here. It's not a 253, it's the 308, it's the 5 litre, right?
Yep, that's correct.
I mean, they were so appointed, weren't they?
They were. That's it. The velour seats and whatever. You felt plush in it. So,
have you had to do much to the car since you've had it in the family?
None at all. It hasn't had a spanner on it. Hasn't had a thing on it. Might just need a coat of clear on it, but other than that, it's all good.
Tell you what, Craig, I kind of dig the cable tie there holding the bumper bar on up the front.
Unfortunately, those rubbers are getting hard. That bumper rubber's very hard to get, so we have to do what we've got to do.
At least it's a genuine cable tie, it's not some repair that looks tarted up. I mean, you've gone all out, haven't you?
That's it, no expense spared.
No. All right, Craig, thanks for being on today's show.
Thanks, Fletch. Happy driving.
Pleasure catching up with you.
All right, mate.
I think obviously this is very special too because it is your father's car.
It is.
Lovely example, SLE. You don't see many of them. It's even got the original wheels on it. That's unbelievable.
That's it. And he used to particularly like blowing off those BMWs at the lights.
I bet he did.
He did.
I bet he did.
Anyway, he'll be with us.
Good on him.
Thanks.
Good on him.
Happy driving, guys.
Right, you too. Well, how cool was that? Just some of the Laggan Pub show and shine. Normally a town population of around 350 people. It tripled today with over 1,000 through this event. Over 150 classic vehicles turned up as well. If you want to try and get here in 2019, it's worth a little trip. Just north of Goulburn and southwest of Sydney. Check out social media pages for more information. As I say at the end of every episode, until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Hare and Forbes Machinery House, Pace Farm, Hero Hoists, and Martin's Panel Masters.